here with Martin Gilbert, who's Chief Executive Officer of Aberdeen Asset Management. Martin spoke this morning in a panel about what would be big drivers for growth in this industry, and the audience found Asia would be a driver for growth. Martin, you didn't agree with the audience on that. Why was that?
I think I do agree with them long term. I just think short term it's still not as big a savings culture as, say, the US. The vast pools of money are still in the US, but I would say 10, 20 years, Asia is going to be as big as anywhere else in the world. So I think long term they're right. I just think short term it's not the great opportunity that everyone thinks it is at this moment in time.
And where are you seeing growth at the moment?
Really Asia, really the US is where we're seeing a lot of money flowing into, especially emerging markets and global equities. So those are the two areas we're seeing really big growth coming at the moment.
And is that investors coming in from sort of man-in-the-street investors in Asia? I'm doing it now. In the US?
Yeah, it is. Obviously most of the money comes from the man in the street, but we tend to always go through an intermediary. We don't want to deal directly, so it comes through private banks, IFAs. Family offices are big in the US. Pension funds. So all of them are investing more and more money overseas.
And do you think that's because they took fright? Is it some response to the crisis?
I think they see the crisis as over, I think, to a large extent, or the worst of it, and they've really regained their nerve. So instead of sitting on the cash, which is making them no money at all, they've begun to invest more and more in equities and bonds overseas. The US economy probably think that the dollar is going to weaken, so they want to have their money, or a portion of their money, outside the US.
And some of the big regulatory issues facing the fund management industry, if you're based in the UK or within Europe, what are your thoughts on them? Well,
I think we can work, within whatever regulatory environment there is. So we just get on with it, I think. There are obviously things that concern us, but we can work within any of the regulatory changes that are going to occur. I think they're going to be more downside for the hedge funds and private equity than for boring old long-only asset managers like ourselves.
And going forward, comes through the crisis, obviously battered and bruised, or do you feel leaner and meaner? Or
I think leaner and meaner. I think asset managers came through it relatively unscathed compared to banks and insurance companies, mainly because, of course, we weren't leveraged to the same extent as banks were, and we weren't holding the assets on our own balance sheet. So I think, no, the asset management industry is definitely leaner and meaner, and I think probably doing pretty well at the moment because of the cost cutting that happened during the crisis.
And do you think this would give a better story for consumers, for investors?
Yeah, I think the asset management industry, again, has quite a lot to learn, as we've heard today, from the way the consumer or the investor perceives he has been treated. So I think, as I've said earlier, our products have got to be simpler and less opaque, and we've just got to invest more for the long term and win back the trust of investors, I think.
Thank you. On a different note, can you tell me what it is you like about FundForum? You come every year, I think.
Yeah, I think it's no, it's great. It's nice to be in Monaco at this time of year. No, but seriously, it's great to meet everyone in the industry, and I think having the IFAMA dinner this year is really a big plus. So I think that has brought down, I think, an enormous number of the CEOs of the asset management industry, and it's really the first time I can ever remember, all of them really getting together in one place. So I think that's really been a huge boost to what was already a very good conference.
Thank you. Martin Gilbert from Aberdeen Asset Management, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.